Welcome to North Idaho Experience. In today's episode, Dave, Scott, and I sit down with Jay Wojnowski. He's the chief of the Kootenai County EMS system up here. We talk about the whole process. We talk about Jay's background as a chief in a Southern California firefighting or fire district, and a lot of the procedures, the scope, the budget capabilities, all of the things about Kootenai County EMS, including potential future levies if needed. And Jay really has a deep knowledge of the EMS system up here. It's a bit of a unique system, so it's worth checking out this podcast and kind of understanding what we've got going up here. Rest assured, we are in excellent hands. Kootenai County EMS is a fantastic organization, so we've got great healthcare and transport capabilities here in the county. If you guys enjoy these podcasts, please do me a favor and share, subscribe, like. Jump onto the audio platforms, give us a review over there so we can boost that out as well. We appreciate the support that you all give us. And if you guys are thinking about making the move up here to North Idaho, please reach out to our real estate team. You can find the contact info in the comments. We would love to help you guys make that smooth move right here to North Idaho.
Hi, Jay.
No, everybody knows Jay.
How's it going, Jay?
Man.
And so just for the record, Jay is, I've already said this, but he's the chief Kootenai County EMS. Scott is here as well because, Scott, what was your official title when you were down south?
So I was a paramedic supervisor for AMR.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right.
So I handled all special events.
So Scott's from that world too. Okay. Right. And as you all know, Dave is super firefighter, paramedic. Dave.
Sounds like
Dave is here.
Yeah, it sounds like we had a similar career. So you were a captain, correct?
Well, I retired as a division chief.
A division chief. Yes. And who were you with? Who was that?
Heartland Fire and Rescue.
Okay.
In El Cajon.
Patch is on the board now.
Nice. Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
So what's and just for your background too, just so I know as well. So Heartland, you did how many years with Heartland?
So I started out in '98 with the city of El Cajon,
okay.
And then in 2010, the city of El Cajon, La Mesa, and Lemon Grove merged together to become one department under one umbrella. So it was a joint powers agreement. The difficulty with that was each city had their own checkbook. So when you buy things, typically when you're one department, it's get 3 bids. This was a little different because each agency, you had to get 3 bids. And the tax rate was different, so it was a little bit more challenging.
Man.
Even though we're all on, same equipment, same breathing apparatus, that type of thing.
Yeah,
it was a little challenging. But
got a lot of bureaucracy.
And it's a very busy department. I think
right.
The last stats I saw, we had 8 fire stations, and we were running about 33,000 calls a year. So
okay,
very busy.
Yeah, that was with county. We had multiple JPAs up there, and so we were always dealing with budget issues on a lot of it with
JPA. Can you?
He just said it. Joint. What is that? I don't even know what it
Powers
stands for.
Agreement.
I always call it just a JPA. I didn't even know what it stands for.
Well, there's different ones. There's Joint Powers Agreement and Joint Powers Authority.
Yeah.
Like Orange County's a fire authority. That's kind of the same thing.
See, I didn't even know. I just call it a JPA.
That's what our OCFA, Orange County Fire Authority.
Yes.
Yeah. I knew it was our budget.
Okay, real question.
Basically share the funds.
No holds barred. What was your feeling on CHP down there?
They were good.
Good? Okay.
No, they were.
Okay.
No.
Until you talked to them.
We had a couple incidents, but where we had to block the freeway and they were not happy.
That wasn't. Where was the incident where the?
No, that was Orange County.
Okay.
Somebody got arrested.
Okay.
They arrested the engineer.
No, that was Chula Vista in San Diego.
Oh, was it San Diego?
Yeah,
Okay.
it was.
I thought it was Orange County.
No.
We
I thought it was like Fullerton.
Hey, just for the record, we were all mad at that dude. Like, bro, no, you don't do it.
It was
Anytime firefighters blocked, I was up north the whole time, but whenever they blocked the lane, I was like, you know what? Thank you. Because you're saving my life, potentially. You're putting that freaking big old rig in front. I don't give a shit about the evidence on the road. We'll figure that out later.
Yeah, one of them was weird because it was an overturned truck with a trapped victim. They ended up dying. But we blocked the on-ramp to the freeway because we had our truck and all of our equipment's in the back right. And they got really upset with us. So our battalion chief said, okay, we're just going to leave then. And he's like, well, you can't leave. We need you to extricate the body. So we did. But then later on, we saw they shut down the freeway for a tow truck. So
yeah, right.
Wow.
Come on.
Okay, so Heartland, you started in '98. You guys had the JPA. Everything kind of came together. 3 different, which sounds like a mess. I mean, when I was with San Bernardino, we acquired Victorville. Hesperia was right before my time. We acquired San Bernardino. That was a mess because they went bankrupt.
Absolute mess.
Oh God! And the thing was, actually it was awesome for our department because we got a bunch of good dudes out of that acquisition.
Yeah.
They weren't as happy because some of them all of a sudden they were like, "You're going to Yucca Valley," and they're like, "What?"
Or they're going to like Big Bear.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just like,
How's that work for pay scale? Were you guys a higher scale?
It's all negotiated between the unions. They would come over at the same scale, but there were payouts. There was some other deals struck for those guys. There was some supplemental. I think there was some supplemental income for like 3 to 5 years or something like that. But ultimately, no. The county paid them the same as we got paid. So, but I can imagine, especially having 3 completely different budgets
and the 3 different unions as well.
Oh, gosh.
Different
God.
pay scales. that type of
And those always get along well.
They did for a while, and then it's just like brotherhood,
Yeah.
Right.
Things happen, but that was the challenging parts. Was just the budget, working with the budgets, because unlike here, every city had its own tax rate, and we had to pay tax. So you would do a bid, and one was like 7.75%, another one was 8.25%, and another one was 8.75% or something like that.
Oh, wow.
And so it was interesting working with vendors. So when you found a vendor that you really could work with, who understood what was going on, it made it a little bit easier.
So you did that. You retired there as a division chief.
Yes.
And what other departments down there did you work with?
That was it. In the fire service,
Okay.
I was a reserve in Borrego Springs for a year, and I worked also for it was called Hartson at the time as a paramedic, and then it transferred over to AMR before I got in the fire service.
Nice.
What year did you retire?
23, December 23.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that when you moved up here?
I started in January 24.
Did you roll right from that into
I
Kootenai
had
County?
less than a month off.
Wow.
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah.
Soft landing.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Good
couldn't
for
wait to get
you.
up here, though.
Yeah. I can't imagine why.
So now with Kootenai County EMS, can you describe for some of us who don't understand, like what exactly is the Kootenai County EMS system? How does that, who do you fall under, and and how does it bring all the departments together? Is it his own thing? How does it work up here?
So it's its own thing. We have our own budget that we get from tax money. We are a separate entity. Even though we're Kootenai County EMS, we don't actually work for the county. We're our own separate. However, we do have to get our funds from tax money from the county board of commissioners. So they approve our budget, and that's basically what we work off of. We work with 11 fire departments in the area. 9 of them transport patients, so we cover the entire county. It's 187,000 people, I think, now.
Okay.
The 3 biggest departments are Northern Lakes, City of Coeur d'Alene, and Kootenai County Fire and Rescue, and they all have ALS apparatus and also ALS paramedics. The rest of the agencies have EMT and advanced EMTs, but they get support from the ALS agencies as well.
Okay. So the ambulances that we see that are housed either at, do you have your own ambulances at certain stations?
So yeah, in a sense, we own everything.
Okay.
The EMS system owns all the ambulances, all the equipment.
Got it.
We supply all the equipment for the fire engines. And that's every piece of medical advice that is on fire engines and on ambulances we own and we purchase. So what we do is we give the ambulances to the districts, and we pay the districts to basically staff the ambulances with their own personnel. So it's a good thing for the community because you're getting a firefighter and you're also getting an EMT, advanced EMT, or a paramedic. So we basically give the agencies the ability to staff them. They have to have a minimum staffing depending on what it is, whether it's a paramedic or an EMT or advanced EMT. But we give them the ability to, basically for operations, they can send them to structure fires. They do their own run cards basically, and can use them in any way that they need.
Okay.
How would that compare to like where you came from in California? Because am I wrong? I mean, like, did you guys? So San Bernardino, where you were, you guys did your own stuff, right?
So no, well, that's where the JPAs come in too, right? We had privatized ambulances that were owned by the county, and they ran out and they had firemen on them, right? They then started transitioning to where some of the ambulances were only paramedic, non-suppression. But then we also had areas that we worked with AMR. So there were certain, like Fontana had a contract with AMR. So we provided fire and ALS, but they provided transport and ALS services there. So there was a mix throughout the county. I mean, 20,000 square miles and 70, 80 cities. I mean, there's a lot of differences up there. So
you guys call them AOs. Remember
ambulance operators.
Yeah. So they were non-firefighter paramedic EMTs running on boxes for their own departments, their own department staffed and everything. So Hesperia was like that. where else? Mostly mountain communities and stuff like that had the AOs operating with their own fire agencies, and then AMR, we would take like the whole entire valley and Victorville and everything too.
Okay.
So, yeah.
So that's a similar system to up here? Or is this totally different?
No, this is very unique.
This is kind of like how we operate at the Speedway. Like AMR supplied all the equipment and to run everything, but then the Speedway would then manage when and who is needed on those ambulances.
Okay.
So that's kind of
yeah. We're when it was El Cajon Fire Department, we had our own transporting ALS ambulances, and then over time we ended up going away from that and putting a squad model in. So we had 2 paramedics on a pickup truck, basically running calls with AMR. So we started to contract with AMR because the other 2 cities, La Mesa and Lemon Grove, were already doing that, and they already had contracts. So we ended up doing the same thing and basically let them do all the transports.
Do we have any squads up here?
No.
I haven't seen it.
The city of Coeur d'Alene did do a squad model for a little bit, just to kind of take some of the call volume away from some of the engines.
And go figure, some of the firemen didn't like it.
Specifically ones on the squad.
Yeah, you get stuck on the squad, man. You're like, oh god, you're gonna be up all night.
I think it wasn't bad because they weren't transporting on an ambulance.
Yeah.
So they got to run calls. They got there a little sooner, and it was mostly around the Kootenai Health District. It's a pretty busy area.
Yeah.
And what they were trying to do is just condense the amount of time it takes to get to a call type of thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is one system better than the other? I mean, do you like the way things are running up here?
Yeah, I do. It's actually it's very different. It's interesting, but we have the nice part is we have complete control over what we're buying. We like we said, we staff the ambulances, so you get the best of both worlds. You get a firefighter and you get somebody who can actually go out and treat patients. We also do the interfacility transports as well. We're the only sole provider up here for ambulance service.
Wow, that's a lot of money for transports.
Yeah, IFT was always the money. Yeah, IFT was always the money. That's what I was in charge of. So yeah.
And then we also have a CCT program. So we have critical care. They're captain paramedics that also take critically ill patients from facilities that are on ventilators, or they need different drips and stuff like that. So
wow.
Do you guys use nurses? Do you guys hire nurses?
No.
Do you guys use nurses if it needs from the hospital? They'll come with you guys? Or?
Nope. No, it's all the CCT paramedics. Yeah,
oh wow.
They're really good.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So they basically will take patients over to Deaconess or Spokane to different hospitals.
Are you guys involved in flight care as well, or is that a whole separate entity?
That's Life Flight. Now we will assist Life Flight. For instance, they have fixed wing, so they'll land at the airport and we'll send an ambulance up and then grab their team, either to come pick up a patient or to drop off a patient. So
Got it.
We do that as well.
So can you talk to us a little bit? Because I know a lot of people, we have a lot of retired firemen, police officers, everything else up here that have worked in public safety. Well, what kind of numbers do you know? I know you guys said that you guys run about 33,000 calls a year, correct?
That was in Heartland.
That was okay. What's it like up here in terms of EMS volume and stuff like that for?
So we're running
paramedics?
Countywide about 19,000 calls a year.
Okay.
And that's with 187,000 people roughly. The core cities, basically here where we are, Northern Lakes, we got Dalton Gardens and Coeur d'Alene and Post Falls are typically the highest call volume. And then the outlying agencies a little bit less, but it's picking up as well, especially up in Athol where Timberlake is. That area is picking up quite a bit because there's a lot of people moving up there, and and that's one of those things that we have to deal with all the time is growth.
Right.
To figure out where we're going to put ambulances, how many.
100%.
We're going to put paramedics in different places. I mean, my ultimate goal would to have paramedics everywhere in this entire county, but it's just not there yet.
Yeah.
So are you seeing a change? And I know you've only been up here since 23, so probably a little bit goes back to how you've communicated with everybody that's been here. But has there been a big change in the types of calls that our paramedics are seeing up here now?
The number one thing that we're getting is strokes right now.
Okay.
And we keep pretty good data on these things. The thing that we're finding is 62% of our calls are for Medicare age patients that are on Medicare. And then another 12% are Medicaid. So 74% of our call volume is in that arena. And the reason I mention that is because of how much we get reimbursed. From a call, we get about, I think it's 54% back from a call for Medicare, and for Medicaid, it's about 43% of a
I have a
transport
question.
bill.
Okay, so now the difference between, because we don't have a homeless population up here really. How many, those 33,000 calls you were getting down south, how many of those were for homeless? You know, because I know there's a lot of calls that go to that, residentially challenged mental health consumers. I'm make sure I get that right. We don't have that up here. So when I look at 19,000 to 33,000, what's the difference there?
I don't know exactly what the call volume was down there for that population, but it was quite a bit.
Yeah.
Especially in the city of El Cajon, it was a huge percentage. I would say that up here, because of our elderly population and people moving up here to retire, because of cost of living and politics and that type of thing, a lot of it's just medical calls. We don't get a lot of that. We do get a lot of trauma as well, because we have, you don't have to have a helmet up here on a motorcycle, and you have a lot of extracurricular activities going on up in the mountains and riding, ATVs and that.
So Seth was going to the exact same place that I was here. Is, when I hear, it's just a bunch of medical calls, that makes me feel really good, right?
Yeah.
Because that's not the stuff that we're accustomed to down in San Bernardino. So I guess that kind of breeds, and I'm kind of going that direction, is what are the calls that you're not seeing here that you saw regularly in another department down in San Diego?
Shootings, stabbings, that type of thing.
Even with all the guns up here?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Great.
Oh,
It still happens, but it's not as frequent.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not the guns, huh? Weird.
Weird.
Yeah, that's so interesting to me too, because when you look at those statistics like that, that is a statistic that you can't make it up, right? You guys are running quite a bit of calls. 19,000 calls is a lot, and you're not seeing the same things that you're getting from these other communities. And there's a lot of reasons as to why, but I would say that's a good thing for our EMS system to keep you guys healthy, for sure.
Yep.
It's probably a lot less soul sucking for the guys, the men and women that are working up here too, because I never handle medical calls, but I'd be on them. You get the person living in a tent. Like, I've got a cough. Do you guys have any opiates on that?
Yeah.
I'm allergic to everything but Dilaudid.
Do you have any
Dilaudid.
opiates? Yeah, like not having that crap to deal with, I imagine, just makes it a better work environment too.
Yeah, it's no matter where you are, you're going to get that type of thing. But as far as the volume of it, it's a lot less for sure.
Sure.
I would like to see the data on the motorcycles with the helmets, because I did see a policy or a statistic a long time ago that stated that it was actually safer. They found it was safer to ride without a helmet, because they were more conscious about riding like idiots.
Oh, that's interesting.
And I wonder, I've never spoken to somebody in an area where you don't have helmet laws, other than Arizona.
That's why the accidents per capita type thing. I don't know.
I don't know, because I think most of the crashes I went to for motorcycles were somebody else.
I could,
Yes.
I could get behind that, because I think there's two different things. One, you're talking about, I'm willing to bet that if the accident occurs, there's still a higher injury without a helmet, right? But I think maybe less accidents could occur because people are riding more diligently, right, and paying more attention. So I think it almost is two separate. It could end up being two separate things.
Do that in football. Same thing, right? You don't have a helmet, you might be a little bit more careful about.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
You're not going to go in with your head.
Right.
For sure.
Yeah.
So here's a question for you, and this is one that's tough for you to answer, because it's not meant to, to persuade anybody either way. But I know where I came from, there was a lot more reps, right? You just talked about El Cajon and twice the amount of volume, and San Bernardino. I think for San Bernardino County, when I left there, the county was running around 150,000 calls a year. So, roughly 8 times or so what Kootenai County does. I had a lot of reps, a lot of shootings, a lot of stabbings, a lot of full arrests, a lot of needle thoracostomies.
Practice.
A lot of practice, right? So how does the EMS system up here, does it feel a little antiquated to other ones, or are you guys up on top of state-of-the-art training and all sorts of things like that honestly, a lot of places that don't get the reps and don't have the training, it leads to a poor system?
No, I think the call volume's high enough, and there's enough of a variety that it's there for sure. Plus, we have a medical director who's an ER physician out of Kootenai Health.
Oh, cool.
That also interacts with the crews, and we keep a lot of data on things that we need to train on. So they do advanced airway training, and we bought Lucas devices for CPR.
I heard I heard those were getting.
Hold on. What is that?
So it's the automatic CPR. So it's like the thing where they holds their arms up and it just
I feel like some firefighter somewhere, bored in the middle of the night, has strapped that thing to his chest.
Guaranteed he was in a recliner. Guaranteed.
Yeah, just back. No, I saw a statistic the other day that they were actually removing those, and I was very surprised because when they first came out, I was a huge fan of them because you can now do CPR down a flight of stairs. You know, like more of the times we would always work people on scene because once you put them onto a gurney, the data for survivability just skyrocket, like just dies basically. Yeah. And so when those came out, it was like so nice. It is an awkward thing to be carrying somebody on a backboard while that shit is going because you just yeah.
So you guys having pretty good success with them?
So we had them when I was working for Heartland, and we used to call Lucas the employee of the month every month because
never complains.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. We would get pulses back from patients. Wow. The thing is that what they look at for data is they look at people who can walk out of the hospital.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So when you look at the call volume for a convalescent facility, for instance, like in El Cajon, we had 8 of them or something, and that was 17% of our call volume. Well, those patients, when they're in CPR status and they're 93 years old with
they're
a
not
list
walking
this
before.
long of medications and history and stuff, most likely they're not going to walk out of the hospital. They might come back to their convalescent facility in exactly the same way they were put in there. But we found a couple reasons why we use it. When we're transporting patients in CPR status or they re-arrest en route, that's somebody that doesn't have to stand over and be unseatbelted in.
Huge.
Yeah.
And that type of thing. It's not necessarily we have to put them on right away, but it does take away the amount of people you need on scene because you're not switching somebody out every 2 minutes doing
And
CPR.
in the back of the ambulance.
And I don't know if you've ever tried it. Maybe you have.
Oh,
but
dude.
If you're trying to do CPR and you're watching a screen showing you your depth and rate, and you're not consistent typically.
I will tell
There's
you
some really
that
good people at doing it, but
Yeah.
Lucas is like consistent all the time.
it's hard because I'll tell you, we did some cowboy shit out in the county. I mean, I don't know how many times as an ambulance, just 2 people, I had to run a full arrest by myself.
I've done
I mean,
too.
it was literally 2 guys. I'm like, okay,
Yep.
there was no on scene because transport is treatment, right? I think a lot of people forget about that. And that's why I think ambulances are so crucial. You can arrive on scene and you can have all the medical gear in the world, but if that person doesn't get to an ER, their survivability is going to go down significantly. Right. So, I was always of the mind, especially being in these rural areas, treatment is transport. So sometimes there was the indication that you get there and the person's in full arrest, and if they look like a viable subject, before we even started CPR, that person was on the backboard and we were in the back of the ambulance. No neck brace, nothing, just we got to go, right? And then I'm having to do it in the back, but I can't tell you how many times I have been in the back of an ambulance trying to meet up with an engine by myself, doing CPR, trying to stop for 15 seconds at a time, get oxygen, come back, do that, going down a bumpy road in the middle of Landers. Like, it is just not it's different. So having that is huge. Honest to God, I could run a full arrest by myself if I had something doing compressions for me.
Yeah, we used to run a full arrest with an engine company of 3 people and an ambulance with 2, and the captain typically was on the radio, made sure that nobody came in or left the house or would go find medications or talk to family members. You had somebody starting an IV, you had somebody doing an airway, and you had Lucas. And then the engineer was grabbing gear or taking gear out to the ambulance.
Smoking or something
right.
else.
Chalking the tires.
But it worked well. It was awesome, And especially when you have enough of that. We would in the 3 cities we worked in, and on average we were having 3 to 4 CPRs a day.
Yeah.
And we got really good at it to the point where most of the time you go on a call, everybody knows their job, so they don't even talk other than stop, compressions, look, see what's going on. Okay, start again.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
I'm excited to know that you guys are keeping up with it because having that type of technology and things like that, especially when it sounds like the majority of our calls are medical, is huge, right? Being able to do those things. Going back to the engineer thing real quick, were you an engineer?
I was.
Man, why did you ever promote?
I know. Everything goes above and below you.
That was the best. If you're listening to this and you're in the fire service, look, when I was an engineer, I could come in whenever I wanted. All I had to do was work for 5 minutes at the start of every fire, and then I could literally kick back. All I had to do is, you want me to change your bottle? You want a Gatorade? Like, we're good. Once I set my pressures, I'm like, I'm good. And then I had enough clout to where people would ask me questions, and I could say whatever I wanted. And if it came out to be an issue, the captain's phone rang, be like, that was a dumb idea. I'd be like, well, you shouldn't listen to me. I'm not the captain. I don't know.
I always rely heavily on the engineers to be like the peer support in the, not support in that manner, but kind of like second in charge. So when I'm not
100%.
around, take care of whatever you need to take care of and just let me know. And if it has to get to my level, then we'll get there. But
Okay,
Man,
so for
nice.
cop brain, would that equate to like a sergeant?
yes.
Okay. Yeah.
No.
No,
quite.
sergeant's more like a captain in the fire department.
Yeah. You're right.
You got people that you're responsible for. Engineer,
Maybe a corporal.
man, you got like a thing that it's like a mechanic. That's all you are in CHP. You're just a mechanic. You just got your car you got to worry
Sounds
about.
like a pretty good
Never
job.
mind.
Sounds like a pretty good job.
No, it's
was a good job.
It is, and you have, like I said, it's a leadership role because if you're a good, seasoned, not a salty one. Oh, they're all salty.
I was gonna say most engineers.
A
But
good
the thing is,
seasoned
too,
engineer.
it's the hardest test in the fire service too.
Oh God.
You have to know
Just
so
all
much
the
math.
numbers, yeah.
It's all math, and then you got to go
yeah.
out and perform, and you can't run out of water, and that type of thing.
I absolutely loved being an engineer. I actually started. That was the only test I ever failed. I took my engineer exam and I was fully prepped for it. I go take my engineer exam and I failed it, and I came back and proved them wrong.
Nice.
Okay, because they were telling me I know I nerded out, man. I'm doing like Pythagorean's theorem with the freaking ladder, and I'm like, hey, it's this high, and I'm doing field hydraulics and everything else, and I was able to later come back and be like, look, that was a wrong calculation, and they're like, oh, well, I ended up promoting, and then I went on this tirade of developing a website to help train engineers.
Nice.
And it just
Started even back then.
It
Yeah.
just
Still like that
came
for the
down. I know I
record.
nerded out. It just came down recently. They've now privatized it, but Orange County guys are using it. LA County guys. My buddy just called me from Texas who's testing back with county, and he's like, hey, I need some help. And I'm like, I don't remember any of that shit, but it should all be on there. But it was all about, it was all the math, right? And the one thing I found out is that when I checked the math, it never actually worked for real out there.
Well,
When
because it depends, right?
Yeah.
It depends on if somebody's got the nozzle open already. You can't set the pressure
Yeah.
of what you need. It has to be complete closed system. And
Well, there were times even that we would put a ladder up at like 100 feet, man. We'd have one. I'm like, okay, we're going to put this much pressure. And theoretically, no water should come out of that tip. And what happens is flowing. I'm like, all right, this is crap. I don't even know if to help people.
well,
now.
there's only three numbers you really need to know as an engineer, right? 750, 350,
and 150.
150. So 750 is when you either show up to work or or you leave. 150 is what
you
you
would love-
pump the hose at, and 350 is what you bake at.
That's it.
That's it.
I love
No
it.
way.
I've always heard 350, 150. I didn't hear the 751, and I love
right?
that.
What time your shift starts at 8? Be there at 7:50.
That is so
awesome.
good. I know. So there's some engineer going, sons of bitches.
Yeah, he's
I-
right.
I promoted to captain just after 30 years old. And I'll tell you what, man, I walked into some stations and there were some guys that like trained me. And I walked in and they looked at me and it was like this, I'm in charge.
Yeah.
Not you. I don't care.
My first shift as a captain, my engineer had 23, 24 years on, and my firefighter had like 20 something, and we had training that day.
Oh,
And I was like, they go, hey, what are we going to do for training? I'm like, oh my gosh, I have no idea. What do you guys want to do?
yeah.
Because I don't, you guys have been on longer than me, like twice as long,
Right.
So, but they were great. They were awesome.
Oh, dude, they're so valuable.
Yeah,
If you can get past that, like
Ego.
100%. If you can get past that, all my engineers had more time than me, and you develop that, like, hey, like I need you to do.
Oh,
my
they were
job.
smart, yeah.
And they were all bigger than me too. I'm kind of a squatty guy, and so we would get out, and somebody would be pissed off, and they would immediately come charging at the engine, and they would walk right past me and go to my engineer because he's the biggest dude, and I'm like, awesome. It was great. Grant hated it.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting about the Lucas because I would assume the transport times are pretty legit out here.
Yeah, it depends on where you are, for sure. Obviously, if you're up in the northern part of the county, it's going to be a little bit longer. But we also do intercepts too, so or a rendezvous where the transporting ambulance that's up there does not have a paramedic. They'll meet a paramedic somewhere halfway, and then continue care from there. So
Now, we had very few advanced EMTs and
have
stuff
any.
like that. We didn't have any. I remember hearing about the CERT, but I know I never met
it was
any.
new to me up here too.
So
Yeah,
what is the standard for EMT, advanced EMT?
So EMT is just the basics, right? The advanced, they can start IVs and give certain medications.
Oh.
They can treat certain
Usually like
things
nitro, aspirin, oxygen, Narcan, and start
D50, I believe,
Yeah,
for
D50,
Oh, really?
D25,
diabetic.
D10.
They have epi or
I don't
anything
wanna-
else like that?
I don't want to brag, but I
Go
was
ahead.
once certified as an EMT.
We already had to, right?
basic.
You were saying?
No, I didn't have to. I didn't have
Can
to.
you
Oh,
run
you
me?
didn't?
Can you run me through Penman real quick?
That like rings a tiny bell.
The patient's over there.
Yeah.
You want me to do it? Personal safety, environmental hazards, number of victims, mechanism of injury, additional
I
resources,
didn't want
needs for
to. I didn't
extrication.
want to tie up time on the air to repeat all that. Feel a little
Okay.
bit underqualified for this conversation.
So you have the advanced EMTs, some medications, IVs. Can they do any sort of intubation, any sort of airway?
They can do airway stuff. Yeah, we use it's called like an iGel. Have you heard of an iGel? It's
No.
okay. So it's do you remember the combi tubes?
Yeah. King
Oh
of
yeah,
Combi.
yeah. I remember
airway.
combi tubes. I
It's kind
hated
of like
those
that,
things.
but it's got basically a I don't know what you call it.
It
Is it
looks
like an
like
LMA?
that.
It's like an LMA.
Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. Though, yeah, dude.
and we
I
use those pretty frequently.
I tried those combi tubes a couple times, and I just could not.
I love the combi.
Really?
Yeah, and then I
Everybody that couldn't
then I tried
intubate
the
loved
King, and
the
I was like,
combi.
never mind.
I just like the innovation part. I was like, I'm gonna go
I
for it.
loved intubation. I used to tease people like, "You only like the combi because you don't know how to intubate."
yeah. Be like, oh, wrong one. This one.
Right? Yeah. It was a cool tube that didn't matter if you went down the trach or the esophagus. You could still, yeah.
Oh, you could. Okay, so one could go down either. It didn't matter. You could pick the
Didn't
right
matter, and then you could figure out how
Okay.
to ventilate. Yeah.
See,
they're
that's
pretty
what.
cool.
Did you ever do NASCAR training?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. So that was the funnest. Was when you can intubate on an upside down car. Like, oh, that was my favorite.
Those were cool.
Those were fun.
So, and then EMTs up or paramedics. Sorry, what is who is the? You said the medical directors at Kootenai Health. Who is the medical authority up here in Kootenai County?
That's our medical director. He has full authority.
What is there an agency though? I know we had like ISMA.
Yeah.
So Boise basically has the oversight. We have a medical director for the state, but each county has to have a medical director as well. And our medical director basically is in charge of everybody in a sense. So
Wow.
we have 350 providers up here, about 152 paramedics.
So does he have the ability to dictate scope and everything
Oh yeah,
else?
for sure.
Wow.
Yeah. So we have different committees that he's part of.
Yeah.
So whether it's protocol changes, policy changes, that type of thing that he's involved in, and then he onboards new paramedics and EMTs where he goes out and does a question and answer session with them, show me some skills.
Wow.
He has to feel comfortable that they can
What a
operate.
shock! California had 6 more steps
That's
in there.
crazy.
Yeah, because we had ISMA, we had that medical director, and then each agency had their own medical director.
Wow.
How's that work with law enforcement? Because I know CHP had. I don't know if they had their own medical director, but
They did.
But
they did. Because,
okay.
yeah, because they had rescues
Yeah.
on their.
Oh, for the.
rotary.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay. Because I remember they would dictate what our scope as an officer was, and it actually just got less and less and less as I was.
Liability for sure.
Well, you had SWAT too. So those guys, usually those medical directors were the SWAT directors too. So that's what mostly CHP was.
It's a little harder when you're going inter-county too, because you need to have something you can't. You got people that are bouncing back and forth through counties and different
Right.
jurisdictions.
Yeah,
so-
and I was working in Palm Springs. This is my first paramedic job for a year, and CHP had their own paramedics on a helicopter down there.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think they're very good from what I hear. They're
very good.
pretty active.
They were never available when we needed them, but they had one.
Which is a shame. I tell people this all the time. If you're in California and there's 2 helicopters over your crash and you're going to get picked up by one, you ask for CHP because it's a free ride.
Or county.
Yeah. Okay. I didn't know.
But
that
you have
counted.
to live in the county. So I was airlifted. And I lived in LA County at the time, and I was airlifted off of a bike. After a bicycle crash, and luckily it was a county bird.
Yeah, dude.
And I was like, "Whew,
Yeah.
thank you." Yeah,
It's a big
All
price
I
difference.
requested was, dang it, the nausea medication. Dang it.
Zofran?
Yeah,
Zofran.
that's all I requested. I was like, I don't want anything but Zofran.
Jeez.
I get motion sickness. And then on the basket going up, I was like that typical person. I was like, please stop, please stop.
I've seen those go pretty quick.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah,
So,
they hoisted me up quick.
Going back to paramedics and their scope up here. So intubation, yes. IVs, yes. Obviously advanced medications, yes. Do you guys do ketamine up here too?
Yes.
Ketamine? Morphine?
Morphine,
Dilaudid, fentanyl. Do you guys do Dilaudid as well?
Dilaudid is for the CCT medics.
Okay, so they
You
have
guys
that.
do fentanyl and morphine? See, I hated when we switched out of morphine to fentanyl.
We switched out of morphine to fentanyl down in San Diego too because they just didn't have any morphine.
Yeah,
So that's the only reason we moved. The thing with fentanyl is it doesn't last as long.
No,
So you have to
the
redose.
half-life is,
it's
what,
like 10
5
minutes
10
maybe
minutes,
something
yeah.
like that. It's not
Okay.
much. So morphine's definitely a better medication for longer transports.
Okay.
But some people are allergic and you never know.
What about
and I felt morphine did so much more for cardiac. I remember giving morphine for cardiac issues too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, well, preload.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
But our fentanyl is just pain.
Oh, it totally is. So how about you guys needle thoracostomies?
Yes.
How about chest tubes?
The CCT medics can do
Wow.
something similar, but yeah.
Okay. It's chest
Just like
tubes.
It's a finger thoracotomy.
Oh, finger. Okay. And then is there like a catheter that goes into with
I
suction
don't,
or something?
to be honest, I don't remember. It's recent that our medical director started doing that. It's a optional scope of practice that they're allowed to do.
When would you use that?
What? A chest tube?
Stabbings
either
or
one,
shootings.
both. It's a chest tube for.
It's like a tension pneumothorax,
Yeah, okay.
basically.
Okay.
So you have air filling a
second
cavity.
clavicle down, up and over, third.
Make an L with your finger
Okay.
and put this on the clavicle, and that's your point.
Second intercostal space above the third midclavicular.
Yeah. Okay. So
line.
I
You can go on the
stole
side.
Yeah, we
one
couldn't do
from the ER one time when I
wouldn't
was
let
in
us do
there.
that one.
Really?
I stole one from the ER because I was like, I'm gonna do this to somebody. It's like,
It's a huge needle.
It is.
I remember
Isn't
being
it 10
straddling
gauge?
people and be like, I'm going to put this in your chest. And them looking at you like, I mean, it's
I was
it's
always
long.
told if they can tell you no, they're not that fucked.
Right.
I could tell you by his sats.
Yeah.
He was jacked up.
Oh, well, I was on a Mercy medic one time, and I was like, when do you stop? He goes, until the blood stops.
Oh.
And then you just turn all the other ones off when you get to the hospital. And I was like, that's some wild west medicine right there.
Wow.
Yeah, he's like, if you just got a hemo-pneumo, you just keep poking. And I was like, damn. And then he's like, you suction it. I was like, that's cool.
Well, what about and then needle crikes? Can you guys do those up here?
Yes.
Okay. Any
That's-
other surgical stuff?
okay.
No, I think that's really about it. Yeah.
Okay.
So that's what's interesting is like down there, ISMO, we had CCT nurses that would handle one time I had like 19 drips. And then remember that, what was it called? The artificial heart and lung, it's an acronym.
What's
it called? Not a VBAC, but
LVAD.
LVAD. Well, that's left ventricular assist device, but it was a heart and lung. So it was a femoral catheter that went
my
in,
gosh.
and it was that big, and then it would have an Impella device.
Yep.
And that would
Circulate the blood?
Yeah. So what was
Crazy.
Anyway, we'd have to do them all the time to like Loma Linda to USC Medical for a heart transplant, and those transports were like 5.5 hours long.
Jeez.
Like the amount of O2 you went through, we'd have the two big Ds. I think they were Ds or Gs or something like that, and we'd go through two of them.
Really?
Yeah, we had one going all the way to San Diego. I had to arrange AMR San Diego to meet us halfway for O2.
I couldn't breathe that much air on my own. I don't know how the heck.
ECMO call.
That's
Oh,
right.
okay.
Yeah, ECMO. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Wow.
yeah, so you'd have
I didn't know
two
they transported
nurses,
that.
a doctor, and a medic on board for every one of those transports.
So that's pretty cool. That's always been my nerves about a smaller community in a place that doesn't get as much. Is are they antiquated? Do they have all the equipment? Do they have the policies, procedures, protocols, everything else? And it sounds like for the most part,
When I came up here, I was very impressed at the protocols.
That's cool.
And the medications. It's a lot more than we did in San Diego.
Yeah.
Like as far as ability, I think a lot of it is because of the rural community. Where in San Diego, you could throw a rock and hit a hospital, basically.
Right.
I mean,
Your transport times you didn't get.
you're
option
10,
to.
15 minutes most, sometimes out here, depending on where you are or how long you're on scene.
Okay.
That type of thing. And we can always call Life Flight. They have other, if they can fly, they have a lot more they can do as well.
Quite a while ago, I had Pat Krenz on from Life Flight, and he was saying that exact thing because they're so remote that they're flying in to some place and they're allowed to push a lot more medication than normal.
They always have been.
So that's another thing that the state has looked at, and we're starting to look into it. Canyon County is now beginning a program of giving whole blood in the field as well.
Wow.
So we're looking at doing that here and partnering with Kootenai Health to do that. It's a big undertaking. The good thing is that Canyon County actually did all the work for like the last 3 years. I talked to one of their chiefs down there.
What's the
who put all the
expiration
work
on
in.
blood?
You have to give it back to the blood bank every 6 days, and it's good for 2 weeks. So every 6 days you have to switch it out, and it has to be constantly monitored, like every hour. It has to be a certain temperature, and then you have to have a warmer so that it warms as it goes into the vein.
Oh yeah, I'm out.
It's a lot.
I'm out.
It's a lot.
I remember
we
when-
haven't started yet, but we're looking into it.
I remember when they wanted us to start pulling vials for Kaiser. Remember that?
Oh, dude.
Yeah.
they
And
can
I was
suck
like,
it.
oh man, I didn't have time. sorry.
Yeah, they tell me, oh, we need you guys to pull. I'm not doing your job. I'm not pulling your bloods for you. Get out of here.
You're getting a vein anyway. I'm like, in a moving ambulance.
Yeah.
You know how hard it is?
Yeah, we're not.
So they want you, when you show up to the hospital with the patient, they want the blood.
They wanted like the
can,
2 or 3 blood
I can
vials
say it now
already.
because I'm definitely past like my 3 years and everything else, but I've had CHP pull up and like, we want blood. And I'm like, I got you. Absolutely, dude. Had people that were
I would have been all over that, dude.
just dirty people that just, I mean, they were drunk as hell, got in a massive accident. And they're like, can we get bloods? I'm like, I'll give you bloods. I'm like, boop, oops, here you go.
Yes.
I did hear about
You guys
something-
figure it out. I don't know.
I did hear about something in ISMO recently that the departments were sending their cops to get phlebotomy licenses so they didn't have to wait on hospital.
There are some places that have that,
I was
which
talking
is
to
crazy.
somebody, yeah. I think it might have been Redlands PD or something like that.
Yeah.
Where they sent their like 6 officers to be phlebotomists. So
I
that way they
would
didn't
I
have
would
to
have
wait in
loved
hospital.
that when I worked up in Humboldt County because I had insanely long transport times. So if you hook somebody on deuce and they were even close to the limit, there's no way they're going to be.
We had a guy
really?
just jack up a family of 5, man, and had CHP. They're like, can you give me bloods? I'm 100%. Here you go.
Yeah, we had a legitimate chemical breath machine that we could carry with us in our car, but if they refuse breath, it's hard to force somebody to breathe. But you can do forced blood, so that would have been perfect for us. That would have been cool.
Yeah, that's tough. Well, that's really cool. So how's budget? None of the commissioners listen to this anyway, so go ahead.
It's okay if they do because I have to get my budget approved there.
Yeah.
Our budget's $12,600,000 a year. $4 million of that comes from the county, from county tax.
Got it.
We're the lowest taxing district, EMS or ambulance taxing district in the state.
Where's the other 8 come?
Really?
It comes from transports.
No kidding.
So we this is the weird thing about the state. So House Bill 389 limits the amount of money that fire and police and EMS can get from taxes. So the max we can get is 3% increase every year. Problem with that is that our costs used to be 10 years ago 3 or 5% every year, but now we're looking at 15, 20. Some cases we have some supplies are 41% increase. Fire engines are 50-something% increases.
Yeah, do they take into consideration things like I can't say because we'll get in trouble, in 2021? Can't where we had a massive spike in just cost of living and everything else? They don't take that into.
So in 21 is when this House Bill 389, I think was adopted basically.
Really? Okay.
And so basically it kind of limits the amount, which is why you see all the time a fire department has to go for a levy increase, and you have
that
all these
explains
things
a lot.
because you're only getting a 3% increase. So for instance, for us, I believe from last year till this year, our increase in our budget was like $189,000
Okay.
out of a $4 million budget. That is... It translates to like $7.62 for every $100,000 of value of a home, or almost $34.18 or something like that for $500,000. That's not a lot, so we have to make up the difference with transports. And like I said, our transports basically 54% of what we're actually sending out as a bill, we're getting back in Medicare.
Oh, yeah.
I think overall, out of all of our billables, we're getting, I think it was 54% back total. So
I think it's better than what we were doing.
it's pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
But we do pay an outside company that does, that's all they do is EMS billing.
Just billing,
And
okay.
we pay them a lot of money, but if we were to do the same thing in-house, we'd have to hire another 6 people. I mean, that's how much work they have to do.
I assume they're in the Philippines.
No, they're actually in Washington. Yeah.
Close.
Yeah.
And they know how to bill.
They do. Yeah.
So that's good.
And then we have it's called Washington GEMT, and then Idaho just adopted the GEMT program, which is Ground Emergency Medical Transport. And basically what that does is it takes any Medicaid that you bill. So if you bill a Medicaid patient, let's say $1,200 for a transport, and they're only giving you back 43% of that, the government through this program will give you back anywhere between 50 to 100% of the difference of that, so you can capture some money. So we have already been doing that in Washington. Brings us in about another $80,000 a year because we do Washington patients. And then with Idaho, we're looking at maybe around $150,000 a year that's going to come back to us from those types of patients.
Okay.
So
Are those
that
the
helps
patients
out.
coming from the hospital going home in like Washington, or like like transport accidents?
It's both.
Yeah,
because we with the amount of people from Washington coming over here with Washington insurance and that type of thing.
So when your budget of 12 million. Now, you said most of the paramedics and stuff are owned by the departments, right? So how much of that budget is in personnel, and do you guys have any of your own medics?
We don't have our own.
Okay.
Basically, what it comes down to is we're paying the department. So I'll give you an example. We're paying the city of Coeur d'Alene, or giving them $2.5 million a year to staff those ambulances for us and operate those ambulances. And then it kind of trickles down a little bit. So, it's roughly $2 million for Kootenai County Fire and Rescue, and about 1.7, I think, for Northern Lakes, somewhere around there.
So you guys don't staff it, but you pay for it.
Correct. So we're paying to have those people put on those ambulances for us that are dual licensed, let's say as a paramedic, EMT, or advanced, and then also they're trained firefighters.
That's pretty
interesting.
cool.
So I mean,
here's the caveat though. We write off about $4 million a year in lost revenue because we can't capture that from billables. So
wow.
It's this weird game we have to keep playing, but those transports bring in enough money that we can maintain what we're doing, and we're doing some cost savings as well. So instead of buying a new ambulance for $365,000, we'll remount an ambulance for $250,000. We'll save around $80-something thousand per ambulance just to take the box off and put it on a new chassis. We get that done in about 3 months versus a new build is about 1.5 to 2 years out.
Okay.
So we're trying to save money in different areas.
You still got a new vehicle though. You just keep it in the box.
We did a lot of remounts when California outlawed diesels. So when all the diesels, remember, the diesels went away, we had to remount all the gas, and then all the diesels went to like Texas. So we had to do like 85 remounts in 2 years. It was nuts.
Wow.
Yeah.
What changes would you like to see that maybe you're starting to implement, but to make the system better?
Eventually, we're probably going to ask for a levy increase. Like I said, we're the lowest in the state. We're the second busiest providers. That's crazy. So it's a challenging thing though, because if you look at like voter turnout, like we just saw recently, you're getting so few people voting on something. So you can win or lose based on a very small percentage of people voting for that. The thing is that with us having a levy, the whole county benefits from it. So let's just, as an example, if we were to increase our levy, that could pay for and do a completely separate interfacility transport division that would not impact the 911 system, and we could put paramedics or chase paramedics or something everywhere in the county, you would get the same basically system no matter where you are. You get the same providers, and it would kind of be seamless. Right now, it's a lot of interaction between the agencies developing MOUs and automatic aid agreements to assist. Now the ambulances kind of go everywhere because there are ambulances, even though we're not dictating the day-to-day operations. The fire departments do. But that's.
But if an ambulance needs to leave Coeur d'Alene because there's a need, then it's going.
It'll go. Yeah, okay. They go south to Worley. They go up north.
Got it.
My dad was actually transported, and that's one of the reasons why I came up here. Is he said the experience was great. He lives in Bayview. He was transported. Cool. They met an ambulance halfway, and then he got transported to Kootenai Health, and he said it was great. And then the experience at the hospital was awesome too. My wife is a retired nurse, just recently retired, and she worked in the ER for 24 years. She was a cardiac ICU nurse and all that stuff. And just her interaction with the physicians and the nurses at Kootenai Health, she was like, he's in great hands.
I love hearing that it's a good experience. I just went to the dump a few minutes ago, and I was on the phone with a client, and I was going through there, and she's like, she sounds so nice. She's so happy. I'm like, I know.
exactly.
Even at the dump,
I know that lady. I know who you're talking about.
She's the nicest lady. I know. It's freaking awesome. Great experience.
And I mean, everything that I've experienced up here has been amazing as far as just
cool.
The interaction. All the healthcare facilities up here have been amazing. We partner with all of them doing different things because you've got urgent cares. We've got the new Post Falls ER and the hospital out there. They've been amazing to work with, and we transport there. Kootenai Health is going to build another facility up near Prairie and
41 and Prairie.
Yeah.
How's it working with Northwest Specialty? Do you guys do anything with them?
Yeah.
Any transports there?
Yeah.
They seem like a great bunch.
Like I said, everybody up here has been awesome.
Is that the one you just mentioned? Do they have an ER now? Northwest Specialty?
No,
No, they don't.
that's
different.
Post Falls ER and Hospital. It's the
Okay.
one at State
By
Line.
Cabela's?
Oh, yeah, set up on the when you're going, you stay on the freeway. Okay,
But we've started from the very beginning when they started building their facility. We started meeting with them about, can we transport here? Are there, if we have to transport somebody out and, that type of thing.
Yeah.
And they've been great. Yeah.
So if you guys have to do a levy, is that like going to happen, or is that?
Right now, no, it's not. It doesn't need to. We've been able to manage our budget enough that we only went up $18,000 from last year in our budget just by changing a lot of things. So
That's
just
impressive.
as an example, since I've been here, we've remounted and purchased a total of 8 ambulances, I think, or 9 ambulances. We got the Lucas devices. I replaced all of our heart monitors because they were aging and we were spending thousands of dollars a month sending these out for repairs, and they were just really old. We put in some vending machine system at the hospital and at our facility for 24 hours a day access so that we can control our inventory as well, which is good because when I got here, we had 4 pallets of medical equipment that were expired that we ended up throwing out or donating. We have a lot of firefighters in the area that go to different countries and send medical supplies down there with them so we can at least reuse it. But
You guys got new monitors and everything else. Who do you guys go with?
Zoll.
Okay, so we're familiar with Zoll. We had tons of Zolls.
I didn't. I had LifePack.
You guys had LifePack?
It was a weird time too because
You got a ton of them.
I only worked with LifePack products, which is Stryker now, and they were coming out with a new product, and then Zoll was coming out with a new product, and so I'm in the mindset that you don't buy a new product unless it's been through its paces for a few years, and so we ended up sticking with Zoll and the same monitor, model number,
Right.
because everybody's familiar with it, and we had to replace. I think we got 26.
How do you go
monitors.
through that process of getting a new monitor? Do you talk to the guys? Do you guys just do research?
It's a little,
how do you guys do it?
So we have an equipment committee that we bring in anybody who wants to be on the committee from all the departments.
Cool.
And they basically have a say in some of the stuff that we do. So somebody can basically, it has to come out ahead of time. We have a program that they use. They can put a request in to look at something, a new device or a new whatever.
That's cool.
And so we look at that. The medical director looks at it, that type of thing. As far as the monitors, it was pretty easy sell because everybody's familiar with it. And I kind of explained the fact that we're in this transition right now. We don't want to spend the money on something that hasn't been through its paces. For instance, there was a company I won't mention, but they came out with a brand new heart monitor, and everybody's like, "Oh my gosh, this thing's amazing! Touch screen, lots of colors, and all this. It's lightweight." And
Sounds like
then-
Phillips.
And then after a while, people are like, "We don't like this. It's not doing what it says to do," and it's having a lot of warranty issues and stuff. And it's just like buying a new vehicle.
Yeah.
You don't want to get the first year that it came out with a new engine,
Right.
So it's pretty easy sell. But in 6 or 7 years, when these things start to wear out, we'll probably look at whatever manufacturers are out there and get a committee together. And
That's cool that you
type of
guys
thing.
use committees, because that was one of my biggest gripes at my previous department. I'm okay with somebody telling me like, "Hey, we're the ones, and this is the budget, and this is what we're providing you with," and then I go, "Okay, well, it is what it is." But we would constantly put together committees, spend a year testing out BAs, testing out all this stuff. We'd write a professional recommendation. They go with something else. I go, "What the hell are we doing?
Right.
Yeah.
I got to wear
We've all
this thing.
experienced that.
I got to use this thing, and you asked us to put together something, and now you're going with something else because it's cheaper."
Yeah. We do the
Let's
same
just do
thing.
that from the beginning.
We do the same thing with our ambulances because they're, I don't work in the back of these things every day, but the people who do should have a say in what's in the back and what it looks like and where the BAs go and where the medical equipment. So we just purchased 3 new ambulances, and it's a new design. It has a door forward, so it's like from the cab you go right into the back of the ambulance. So it's got a bigger area in the back, and it also went from having a single seat for the attendant seat to a bench seat, which when I got here we didn't have. And I thought, well, how do you transport multiple patients? You can't really. I mean, it's really difficult. So a lot of the crews, we want to have a bench seat. They used to work in bench seats. They liked them. It gives you a little bit more maneuverability.
I only had benches.
So-
I had
Yeah, I had-
one captain's
that's all we
chair
had
at the
too.
head, and
Yeah.
then bench, and
Same.
then you'd
Yeah.
throw the
So it was weird
Yeah.
for me. But like I said, I don't work on these ambulances, but this committee came together and everybody was invited, and they came in, and we had ambulance companies come down and give us their spiel on what it looks like. And they all kind of geared towards this one ambulance and said, let's try this. So we actually just got back from looking at these ambulances for final inspection, and we can't wait till we get them out in the field and see what people think of them. And
That's cool because you know what? That is one of the hardest things, man. You have men and women that are serving on the floor, and when they don't feel like they're valued and you're giving them things that they're not comfortable with, I mean, it's refreshing. And, we're dealing with this with a lot of things in our county right now where we've completely been advocates for the men and women that are wearing the uniforms and on the floor. What do they want? Whether that be equipment, leadership, and everything. I'm not saying they get to dictate all of it, right? There needs to be somebody that's able to make a qualified decision on it. But to be able to have input on those things, I mean, that's how you get a morale boost in a department. That's how you keep a department from people leaving. Retention's always a thing up here.
And nobody knows it better than the men and women doing it. I mean, I had this incredible frustration. My department was notorious for not changing anything ever. And, we used to use like a hog tie system for a combative subject. It was like a red strap and a blue strap, and you'd tie one around the ankles and then you'd hook the handcuffs to that. It's difficult to do with someone that's fighting, and it's really hard to do by yourself. The SO had something called the wrap, and it's a phenomenal system, and it's way safer for the person. It's way safer for the officers. I sent up this whole proposal to the chief. Gone. Nothing.
Just use your taser.
No change.
Just kidding.
No change.
Yeah.
It's like, why?
That's frustrating.
Why?
So that's good that you guys are using
Yeah, that is
committees.
incredible.
Yeah, and like you said, it's not everything, but we just look at it that we're not using this stuff. The people in my office are not using it, but we'll buy it. And if we have to change because of cost, then we'll let people know, that type of thing. But they do have an input into what we're doing.
Do you guys use the battery strikers, the gurneys? Yeah,
Yes.
those
Yeah.
things.
Oh, that's one
Those
of
came.
hurts.
Those came out. And I'm like, oh.
The crazy thing is, you add that to an ambulance, the loading system and the gurney, you're talking $55,000.
Yeah, that's about what
Plus
my back
maintenance.
costs right now.
Yeah.
If anybody wants it, it freaking hurts.
From all the heavy.
Of not having battery
I
operated.
mean, you still have to
ones.
lift the patient because you still have to lift the legs and then hit the minus to get the legs to come up.
But,
to go from the floor, like if you have somebody like
what you said,
combative, you just
Yeah.
drop them to the floor. Before you'd have to be like 1, 2, 3.
Or a 400-pounder. Even
Yeah.
if you got a guy on
yeah.
each corner, you're like, God dang it.
Yeah.
Like lifting, people are
Right.
twisting.
I was on a bariatric rig a couple times as a supervisor. Man, I don't want to say.
I-
Never mind.
Yeah, no, I get it. I have disassembled the back of ambulances to make things work
Oh, yeah.
sometimes,
Yeah,
man.
I
That
have
is what it
transported
is.
a
Done it too.
patient to SeaWorld for an MRI.
I was just telling one of the guys in our office, we had to do the same thing.
Wait.
Seriously.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had to go to SeaWorld for an MRI.
Well, you know that little hook
my
that catches
goodness.
the striker?
Yeah.
So we took it out, but we didn't take that out.
Wait a minute, you took that out, but you didn't.
No, we took out everything else,
Everything
but that hook didn't work out good.
Oh.
Yeah, we had to get somebody in there. And
Yeah,
coming out.
Yeah. Going in,
Not good.
It's just like when you reverse over a spike strip.
Yeah, pretty much that's what happened. I'm like, oh my gosh. So I know we're getting close in time real quick. I have a question for you too. And this is a lot of locals up here, right? This is something that has been a political thing for so many people up here, is out-of-state residents, not residents, but out-of-state visitors, right? Summer gets really, really busy up here. How has that, when you bring up a levy, there's so many people that go, well, we're just paying for all these people that are coming over on vacation and they don't care about it and they cause issues and they stress our system. So my question is twofold. One, how does that tax our system during those times in the summer and everything else with visitors? And then secondly, is it really increasing costs? Is it a strain on the system financially as well? To where these levies, is this really just to cover all the stuff that's going on, or is this something that we actually need just as a county as a whole?
So there's a couple things with that. One is that we have the Idaho Fire Chiefs Association, which I'm part of. And that's been the biggest talking point, is that one thing that we don't have here that like California does is a local option tax or a hotel tax to help pay for that stuff. That would solve a lot of problems. The thing is, because of that, we're a very large area. It has a lot of people coming in to do recreation that does bring up our call volume in the summer quite a bit. I can't say specifically whether it's one state or not, but it's just a lot of stuff's happening. You have a lot of boats, you have a lot of car accidents and all these different things happening. If we could get something like that, where that money, like if you were going to get a hotel room, it's $150 a night. Do you care how it's broken down as far as percentage of who goes? Nobody cares.
Just
right?
don't charge me for parking.
It's in there. You just don't know.
Yeah.
But if you were to say, there's a certain percentage of that bill that goes to fire, police, and EMS for the county or for the city that you're in, and that you get to keep that money, that's going to make a big
especially
difference.
with 2 brand new hotels coming in.
So we've been having this conversation quite a bit on here, even including with some state legislators. So if you're out there and you want to help, reach out to your state legislators, because Idaho has a limit on a city being able to designate itself a resort city. The population cap is 10,000. Coeur d'Alene is well above that, obviously, but we should have the right as a city to designate ourselves a resort city if we want, and then we could charge a bed tax, and some of that money could go to things like that. That would solve a lot of problems.
So outside of that, we could charge one, but outside of that, it would have to be pretty much voluntary from a hotel to charge.
Currently, yes. Right. Which who's going to do that?
Nobody's going to.
But isn't that one reason why Sandpoint's kind of still under the 10,000?
Sandpoint was intelligent in the way that they annexed parts of the city to keep their population under 10,000, so they can be a resort city. Yeah.
That's frustrating because I know that for a lot of people, especially when I say locals, I'm saying people who have been here, 20 years or more. I can see that it's frustrating because it sounds like you guys are doing very, very well with budget, just based off of, I got to manage a very small budget, but we had a $250 million budget with San Bernardino County, a lot of money. Yeah. And granted, most of ours is to personnel, but you guys being able to manage that for equipment and everything else is pretty cool. I guess my biggest concern is, we have a population up here that is anti-tax, almost to a fault. To where it doesn't matter what it is, they turn around and they say, you will manage your budget. So being able to tax people from out of state, I think that we've catered so much to the destination location and all this stuff for so long to bring in visitors. There's enough people that are going to come here. And people that don't want to come here because they don't want to pay $10 for a bed tax, well, go somewhere else. I think that would be a huge thing. And I'm all about helping as well and getting the word out if there's ever anything that comes up that we can do to help people realize or push something through that would do a tax on people that come here to vacation and recreate and those types of things.
I would imagine it's 85% Washington.
Probably.
Of the people.
Just by proximity.
Just by proximity and lack of laws. They shut down their forest during, that time. And we had them open. We have all of the, I'm a big mushroom hunter for edibles. Oh, no. For eating.
Wrong word.
Eating.
Morels.
Culinary. Culinary. No. I'm white. I like every
Scott, I fully believe you. Knowing you, I fully believe that.
But we have so many Washington plates up in the hills and stuff when I go out there in spring. They have more varieties in Washington, and I always find it ironic that in this case, a lot of those people are on ATVs, no helmets and stuff like that. They're probably getting transported quite often. I'd imagine it's a lot of Washingtonians.
Well, it's definitely a lot of visitors from Washington come over, because I remember just getting on from Celtice to Northwest Boulevard, and there's a line of cars, and every car is turning left to get back on the 90, and they're all Washington plates. They were, which is great. They're here spending money and having fun down.
That's why Costco needs to have a gas station at State Line.
Oh, totally.
Gosh, I'd never go. Never go.
Jay, what do you have the ability? Does Kootenai County EMS have the ability to charge discriminately? Basically, if you're out of state, there is no ability to do that. So if you raised prices on anything or transports or anything else, it would be across the board.
Yeah, we're fixed.
Okay.
State and federal fix those, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of everything's kind of set. That's why, for instance, like Medicare or Medicaid will only pay a certain amount, and it's all based on ALS rates, ALS 1, ALS 2, BLS.
Is that something that could be solved through legislation? Not that we want more laws, but sometimes more
federal.
laws.
It might be. I'm not really quite sure about that. I think it's a lot of that. The Medicare, Medicaid part is definitely federal.
It would make sense that when you're traveling through another state and you don't pay taxes in that state, that if you cause a burden on that state, that there is an extra charge or something else. I could understand that. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. We're always going to get somebody to jump on here like, I can't believe you. But I could also understand that, like, when you're in this county and you're not paying taxes to this system and everything else, and you tax the system, that there's a cost, a fee to it.
Well, wouldn't the insurance company then take care of that anyway? most of the time. Yeah.
Most of the time,
Yeah.
I'm sure they would, but I mean,
You're still taxing.
I'm sure you guys are subsidized somewhat federally in some way. I'm sure there's got to be funds that filter into the EMS system somehow from the feds.
Not really, and I'll tell you the reason why.
Okay.
We are not considered an essential service. We're still considered volunteers.
Okay.
In the eyes
Wow.
of the state, anyway.
Huh.
It's weird. So fire and police are, and we are not. EMS is not considered an essential service. So
Wait, so they need to go to the hospital?
So it's and that's why the county, gosh, I think it's Title 31. The county elects to have its own ambulance taxing district so that they have to provide ambulance service for the county.
I could see.
And that's why we do that.
I could see fire being considered voluntary since there's not that many fires. But when there's
It's weird.
37 transports a day, I feel like that's a little more essential.
Well, and the difference too, like between California and here is California, the cities set their own tax rate. And so they did what they called proposition. So you do a prop, for instance, where I worked, you do a proposition and that pays for, it's almost like a bond in a sense, but it pays for extra fire service, another fire station, new apparatus, personnel, and it's over a certain amount of time. And it's like a 0.5-cent sales tax increase. So it doesn't sound like much and you don't notice it, but over a period of 15 years or so.
Is it kind of like our levies?
It's like a levy in a sense. Yeah, it has to go to the vote of the people to decide on this. But everybody shares that, right? So if you're coming over to visit, you're paying to buy food or something else, you're paying that tax. So versus right now, we're getting the majority of our tax money is coming from property tax. California, it's a very small amount of property tax and mostly sales tax. And so if that were to, like I said, local option tax, where it's like our tax, instead of being 6% like the whole state, we're going to add another 1% tax to that, and that percent goes to fire, EMS, police type of thing.
Yeah, sales tax is where it's at, man.
Because if you don't, well, I mean, you're no matter where you're traveling from, or if you're getting paid under the table and you're not paying income tax or whatever, it equalizes everything.
It does. Sales tax is that's it.
I wonder, since the growth of the population, is it outweighing the response, even though you're getting more money through taxes? You're getting, because the population's growing, but you're also burdening the system with more population. Mm-hmm. So it's you're trying to catch it.
So we do have it's a fee basically paid for building new construction and commercial, and it's a fixed rate. It goes to fire and police. I don't know if police is involved as much as fire and EMS, but it's an impact fee is what they call it. So it's growth paying for growth. So for instance, we on average for a single family home being built, it get $134. Just one. It's
that much, huh?
Yeah, it's set in.
No, don't blow it in one place.
But it's set, and then the commercial side of things, it's by square footage. And basically what happens is every day our office, and I usually go through these, I get the building permit, and you have to check off that, yeah, you'll accept that fee to come to you as an agency.
So you're the one that held up my building permit?
Not at all. Oh no, man, I signed that off right away.
Good answer.
But so there's other ways to capture that money, but it's just a one-time fee. And and the other part too that's not been beneficial to us is the urban renewal districts. Mm-hmm. So with those, it's to try to increase the amount of building going on and stuff, they made these urban renewal districts in all these cities. And it basically took the money that we would have gotten in tax and it puts it back into the system so that they can build more. And so we never captured that money. Mm. It wasn't until recently that we were able to voluntarily go out and request that they no longer capture that money and redevelop or use it for redevelopment, and that we get that tax money back, basically.